Hi, know your etiquettes. We are going to the Swan Valley with Rocket's Vineyard Tempranillo Malbec from 2023 and Corymbia. We're here in Western Australia, about a 25-minute drive from this vast state's capital city of Perth, to further get your bearings with some 300 kilometres north of Margaret River. Swan Valley is technically a sub-region of the Swan District geographical indication. The first vines were planted here way back in 1829, making this Australia's second oldest wine-growing region after the Hunter Valley. Deep, young alluvial soils with excellent moisture holding capacity are typical. Soil types vary, from coastal sands over limestone to red and gravel loams and grey sand over clay. There's an interesting mix of grape varieties too. It was initially settled by southern and eastern Europeans who brought, among other things, a love of fortified wines. That explains the presence of the white port and Madeira variety, Verdelho, as well as Pedro Ximénez of sweet sherry fame, plus Muscat and Grenache. This latter lends itself well to port-style red blends with Shiraz, but single varietal table wines have become more popular. As late as the 1970s, 85% of Verdelho was fortified, but that has since flipped around and dry, tropical, fruit-driven table wines predominate. Swan Valley has also found itself front and centre in a Chenin Blanc revival, with this high-acid grape doing its usual trick of making everything from sparkling to crisp, bone-dry whites to stickies. Swan Valley has a warm to hot Mediterranean climate and is very dry during ripening and harvest. It has a high mean January temperature of just over 24 degrees Celsius. For context, Margaret River's is a fraction under 21 degrees. Relative humidity is low, and with not much rain, disease pressure is low, making this conducive to organic farming. Indeed, Rocket's Vineyard achieved certification in July 2022. Also, Corymbia is not alone in not irrigating the vineyard, allowing these resilient vines to work it out for themselves. Dry-grown vineyards in warmer areas have a reputation for vines that adapt to their environment, digging deep in search of water and naturally throwing smaller crops of intense fruit. The district is relieved from heat by the famous Fremantle Doctor, a southwesterly sea breeze that cricket fans will know from evening sessions at the Wacker, and which will add to non-cricket fans' bemusement at this odd sports talk of leather and willow, doctors and whackers. Tony Rocket Mann was a cricket fan, good enough to play for Australia. Anyway, Swan Valley seems to be enjoying a bit of a moment. Its proximity to Perth makes its 40-odd cellar doors easily accessible, and its association with en vogue Chenin Blanc has certainly not done it any harm. Corymbia makes a cracking Chenin if you want to know what that's all about. But also there's a sense that people have come to appreciate an overlooked piece of viticultural heritage. Especially heartening since an obsession with all things cool climate seems to have foisted an unjust stigma upon Australia's warmer areas. This co-fermented blend of 55% Tempranillo and 45% Malbec shows black cherry, blue and black berries, cocoa powder, oyster shell and Dutch licorice on the nose. It's really juicy and engaging from the off, with cola, slate and fennel chiming in on a plush palate. And then it finishes with fine-grained graphite tannins and a seeming contradiction of moorish slurpiness and resonant firmness. Quite a feat that makes you just want to go straight back to it.